Wanderlust, a strong desire or urge to wander or travel and explore the world. What's up, everyone? So today we just got to Thunder Rock Campground. This is the Ocoee River, south central Tennessee. This over here on this side is going up Big Frog Mountain. That over there is going up towards Kimsey Mountain Highway. This over here is the campground, park host. So we're gonna come over here, go to the bathroom. I've had coffee, Red Bull, water. It's about a 2-hour drive to get here. And we're gonna come back, get the pack on, and I'll explain more then. Just packing a few last things in the bag here, then we'll be ready to go. I've got my large external frame today and it's loaded down. Some things changed at the last minute and I decided to change my whole setup. But Benton Mackaye, whichever way you want to say it, guidebook, and Tellico and Ocoee River maps from National Geographic. Rain fly because it's supposed to be pouring rain the next few days. Toboggan, of course, it's going to be cold. Fire kit, I don't know if I need it. Probably won't have a fire. And I managed to fit a 4-pound bag of dog food into a double lock Ziploc bag for Lagatha. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack these in. Another thing that I did do this morning, and I usually try to do, sometimes I forget or I'm just not as good at it, is I sent out this text message to a group. It's got my wife, my brother, my best friend in it, and it basically just says like, I'm leaving Thunder Rock Campground. I have pre-planned camp spots. I list the mile number and the name of the camp area where I'll be. Tell them not to stress if I haven't checked in within, you know, like a certain amount of time, not to be worried unless it's after 24 hours. So it's always good just to let people know what you're planning to do, how long you're planning to be gone, if you can, where you're going to be planning to stay. I did mention in the text that if I end up moving faster, because I always do, that the camp spots won't be the same and the end destination will end up changing as well. But the last few years that I've been hiking, I pretty much have service everywhere, so it shouldn't be a big deal to be able to check in with these guys and let them know what's going on. I usually keep my phone in airplane mode on the trail, and I can usually check in 2 or 3 times a day. I usually have service everywhere. So let's finish packing this bag and get walking. Goodbye, little RAV4. See you in a few days. So this is one of the dam powerhouses on the Ocoee River. You got this gigantic pipe that bypasses the water coming down. Just finishing up the bridge walk from the powerhouse, and this is one of the things that's had me the most worried about this trip, is this crossing right here, crossing the highway. busy highway, people fly, and I'm actually not really even sure. There's a blaze there. Hold on, Agatha. There's a blaze there, but I'm actually not even really sure where the road, or I'm sorry, where the trail ends up on the other side. But we're about to do this right here. And there's no traffic coming from the left. So we're gonna walk over into this lane over here. Come on, lags, this way. Come on, girl. Alright, I think I see it now. I'm gonna skirt around this guardrail, keep from getting in the middle of the road. This way, girl. This is a sketchy crossing right here. You can't really see around that hill. So we're gonna come. I don't hear any. Oh, there's a car coming. Come on, girl. You gotta wait. That's what I don't like. All right, let's go. And see, there's a big truck coming. So come on, girl. We made it across. And here we go. So first thing I noticed is there's a bunch of leaves on the ground already. I was gonna mention that the colors, the foliage is most definitely big right here where we're at. I don't think it's hit peak yet, but if it hadn't, it's close. And so here's where we're headed. We're headed to Kimsey Highway. And then from Kimsey Highway, we've got about another 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles to Lost Creek Campground. I'm gonna set my watch right here in a minute. Lag at the wait. 10:35 a.m., 45 degrees, 1,040-foot elevation. I'm gonna set it to track my miles so I'll know where I'm at. Here we go. We haven't gone very far. Just, I can still hear the highway down there from Ocoee. And this is really the first trail obstacle we've come to. It's not a huge deal. It's just a blowdown. I imagine we're gonna see quite a few of them with the wind we've had the last few days. And I imagine that I'm probably gonna experience some falling tomorrow. There's supposed to be wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour in this area. And it very nearly made me change my mind to not even come, but it's been so long. I've had a few other trips planned that I've had to cancel, so I was gonna do this one either way. All right, watch out, pup. What are you doing? Come on, we gotta go this way. Come on, girl. Come on. Good job. Let's go. Go in front. So I didn't see any other cars at the trailhead, and it doesn't look like the trail's been very frequented recently, so I'm just gonna let her walk off leash for now. She does really well. I've been working a lot on her training, so she should be fine. But obstacle number 1 out of the way. And as I had guessed, straight uphill out of the Ocoee. And I'm overdressed. I knew I was before I started, but I just wanted to get moving. So at some point up here, I'll probably stop and take off at least 1 layer and go ahead and get my chesty harness out. That way I don't have to carry the selfie stick here. And I'm not gonna record the whole time, just for the sake of SD card space and GoPro batteries. I've got battery banks and all that, but I didn't have time to pick up an extra SD card, so I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to minimize the footage over the next 4 days so I can get the whole trip. But yeah, this is quite the climb so far. I've already climbed almost 200 feet elevation since leaving the valley down there. So, got to get out and do this more. Keep my breathing under control. We made it up that power line climb out of the valley. And I mentioned that I was gonna stop and take some layers off, so that's what I'm gonna do now. I think I'm gonna leave the big jacket on, and I think I'm gonna take off this hoodie and just kind of put it in the pack. That way, it's still chilly. I mean, it's 45 degrees. That way I still have a little bit of warmth, but I'm not gonna be sweating too bad, getting my clothes wet. It'd be a bad combination for later on tonight when I have a feeling that it's probably gonna get down to around freezing. I figured I could go ahead and take this time to also explain what happened with the packs. So I've been planning this trip for a few months, and originally I had the ultralight bag and all the ultralight gear set up in it, and with just a small ultralight tarp tent. But at the last minute I checked the weather, and it's supposed to be nice today, but an 80% chance of rain tomorrow, 60% chance of rain Friday, like a 55% chance on Saturday. Temperatures are gonna not even get out of the 50s up here, I don't think. And I also decided to bring a dog, so I needed something more than a tarp tent, so I decided to go back old school with my external frame. It's a JanSport Carson 70 liter. I've had it for about 11 years, but it was already used when I got it, so it's probably 15, 16 years old, something like that. And it's been great. I have not had any problems whatsoever out of it. Nothing's broke. Well, I take that back. One of the large buckles on the bottom got smashed in a door, and so I had to rob one of the buckles off of another pack. But aside from that, it's been a great pack. And it's got about 35 pounds in it right now. And so it carries super well, especially being that rigid frame. But get this bag packed back up and get on down the trail. This is sort of a flat area. It's kind of like a ridge right here. I like to make up a lot of time in these ridges. When I get to the hill climbs, I don't really slow down all that much, but I mean, I do slow down, but I never stop. So I just get a slow, steady pace. But I make up a lot of extra time on these flat walks. So we've been half a mile already, so it is 11 o'clock, so probably around 1 o'clock or something we'll find a good spot and we'll stop. Like at the, hey, come on girl. Probably around 1 o'clock or something we'll stop for lunch. I did bring her food, but I walked right out of the house and forgot her collapsible dog bowl that I bring hiking. So I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of bowl so I can give her some water. But this is my first time walking in these woods. I've finished the Georgia section of the BMT up to Thunder Rock Campground. It was about probably 5-6 years ago, I guess, when I done that. And so I finally got the motivation to want to finish the BMT all the way to Davenport Gap. So this is going to be the first of several longer hikes over the next few months to try to put in the effort to finish this trail. The first section, the Georgia section, is like 90 something miles. I think I'm going to put in around I don't know, between 50 and 70 miles this trip. So this is all new to me. I haven't hiked any part of this. I have Kimsey Mountain Highway that you seen on the sign earlier. I have been to Kimsey Mountain Highway, and I have been to Lost Creek Trail in my truck. We took a day trip up here, looking for some stuff, looking for some campsites, and Lost Creek is like basically one of the only campsites, established or not, in these woods up here. It's kind of strange. So when we were there was one person camped at the campground out of like probably 12 or 13 sites. Everything looked overgrown. So in a normal circumstance, I'd say hopefully it wouldn't be that way still, but for this scenario, I hope that there's no one there, and we don't have to worry about, you know, Lagatha and stuff messing with the neighbors. But we will see when we get there this afternoon. So far, the hardest part was climbing up out of the valley. But there's some huge leaves up here. Like, look at this thing. This thing is massive. It's larger than my hand. It's pretty wild. And they're all over there everywhere. Bunch of old carved writing in this tree. A couple dates on there look like see 9/27. Looks like 9/27/2008 and 12/6/2010. 1/27/2012. So most of these are older. Looks like an old birch tree. That's doing that nowadays is really frowned upon, but actually it doesn't really harm the tree. I mean, I'm not an expert, but that tree was still alive and it was healed up well. But I actually enjoy seeing that kind of stuff when I'm on the trail now. Just because I enjoy seeing it doesn't mean that I condone doing that. Everyone's an adult, or if you're a grown adult, you can make your own decision. But I enjoy seeing stuff like that, like this too. Just there's another one, 2017, several initials. These trees are softer bark, so they're easier to carve. But it's cool. It's like it tells a story. You know, at some point years back, I mean 2008, that was, you know, 12, 13 years ago, someone walked the same spot that I did. Looks like we're about to cross into some kind of forest or management area, maybe. I'm not sure. Like I said earlier, this is a little unknown to me through here. I only know what I've seen on the map. So, Little Frog Wilderness area. Now, I did see on the map that Little Frog is gonna be on our right for most of the hike today. I don't think we're ever gonna dip into the wilderness. According to the way the map looked, it was all basically you scout right along the boundary. So this on this side of River Road is, I think it's Tennessee Highway 64. Locals call it River Road because it follows the Ocoee. But everything on this side that I'm on is Little Frog over here. On the other side where I parked the car, I actually mentioned it earlier, is Big Frog Mountain, and that would be Big Frog Wilderness. Now, speaking of Big Frog, one of the, if not the coldest night I've ever spent in the woods was at the summit of Big Frog Mountain on the BMT, probably 8 or 10 years ago. What is it, girl? What is it? What do you see? Let's go. It's probably 8 or 10 years ago, and I was hiking with a coworker. We had been on the trail for a few days already, and man, we had a winter storm blow in on us. Temperature was somewhere in the single digits, but with the wind chill, it was most definitely below 0. And then we ended up waking up with snow on the ground, and neither one of us had brought a tent or anything. We were camping under a tarp back before tarp tents were cool. And at the time, I didn't have a solid sleep mat. I just had some piece of foam I'd cut and rolled up and shoved down into a bag. So basically, I slept directly on the dirt for most of the night. Thankfully, my sleeping bag did its job for the most part. I did get cold, but it wasn't like I was gonna freeze to death. So, man, I just love walking through the woods at this time of the year. The woods are so beautiful with all the colors. I mean, it's just awesome. Colors are starting to come in a little bit back home in Georgia, but it's always nice to come up a little further north into Tennessee and even over into North Carolina. And, you know, all these people around home complain about the leaf peepers always coming up and causing traffic, but hell, I enjoy looking at the leaves just as much as everybody else. Maybe not quite in the same way, whereas they just stay in their vehicles. I actually come out and hike, but same principle. We both enjoy. I mean, what's not to enjoy about it? We live day to day, and colors get mute, and the reds and the yellows and the oranges bring new life and new color to the scenery, and I think it's great. I love it. Finally topped this hill at about 1,700 feet. We climbed up from 1,200 earlier. Now we're on kind of a ridge. Beautiful set of woods. We got Little Frog Wilderness on the right side, and still just a tad early in the season, but you can start to see where we're headed. Those mountains over there. Could give you some names, but I really don't know the names without looking into the book. This is one of those sections of trails that I've never been on before, as I mentioned, and I'm not familiar at all with the gaps or the mountains. I'd say by the end of this trip I probably will be. I'm gonna look at the book and the map quite a bit moving forward when we stop and stuff. But I don't know. We're still pretty low in elevation, only 1,700 feet. I know we got to climb up pretty significantly by the time we get to Buck Bald. But some of these mountains over here that we're skirting around on my right are considerably taller than this. I'd say 3,000 plus. So we should start gaining some elevation soon. Get up in the higher parts of these mountains. Some of these mountains around here in Tennessee can get pretty tall. Big Frog on the other side's somewhere around the size of Blood Mountain, 45, 46, maybe 4,700 feet, which is pretty big here in the southeast. It ain't nothing out west, but it's the biggest we get around here. So gonna keep on moving along. It is 11:40 now. Got about another hour and 20 before we stop for lunch. We'll probably stop for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Let Lagatha rest a little bit, and then let her get some water and stuff. Looks like we're coming up on another trail marker here. Maybe the trail splits. I think this was also the BMT along with another trail out of Ocoee. Maybe a loop hike they do. I'm not sure. About to find out. So there's definitely been people camping here. There's some scat there on the ground. Haven't looked at it hard enough to see what it is, but let's see. Dry Pond Lead Trail 76, Rock Creek Trail 125, and then Dry Pond Lead Trail 76 this way, and Benton Mackaye Trail is also this way. So this is the way we're gonna go. Passing through another gap or little saddle one. Been climbing hard for about the last, I don't know, probably 30 minutes. But this is some of this trail conditions are kind of like some I experienced a few years back. I think I was hiking in late November, but all the leaves have fallen and covered all over the trail pretty well. And one of the things about the BMT, ever since the first step I took on it, is the blazes, the way they blaze it is nothing consistent with the way they blaze other trails. Like on the AT, you can always see a blaze in front of you, and from that blaze you can see the one behind you. But here on the BMT, there's some sections, like I can't tell you the last time I seen a blaze walking right through here. It's 1 o'clock exactly. And I've hiked let's see, 3.6 miles, 2 hours 25 minutes of time, almost 1,500 feet of elevation climb since I left the valley down at Ocoee. I've got a pretty good mess going on behind me right now. I clearly didn't think through how I packed my pack last night, and I should have put the food on top, but I didn't. Clothes were on top, so now I'm gonna stop and eat lunch. I dig everything out, and I found apparently Chickmunk Haven. They're everywhere up here, running wild. Got a pretty good view here. I don't know if you can see or how well you can see. Looks like it's view to the north. It's a pretty big mountain silhouette over there. But so I'm gonna, this is my cooker. I had to get some new gas recently. I'm gonna go ahead and make some coffee, and I've got a couple packs of tuna that I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna get into my guidebook over there, and I'm gonna figure out if I want to continue on to Lost Creek or if I want to continue past Lost Creek. We're making really good time, so it may be one of those deals where I decide to go on past Lost Creek. Got the water on to boil for coffee. I use instant coffee because I don't want to carry a press or none of that. And used to, I did like everybody else. I carried a little pill bottle that that nobody was using anymore. Rip the label off, fill it full of instant coffee. But when I went and I gathered up some food from Walmart for this trip, I found these little add-ins that is basically coffee. So we'll see how that goes. Looking at the book, whatever I said earlier about trying to make it to Lost Creek and then getting water and then going on, that's not going to be possible because Lost Creek would be probably about as far as I'd be able to make it today. And that's going to be pushing about 13 miles or so. But I think I'm going to shoot for it because it's still early and I've still got a lot of daylight left to walk. Looks like I'm going to peak out at about 2,800 feet. I'm about 300 feet shy of that. And then I'm just going to drop continuously all the way back down what I've climbed today until I reach Lost Creek at 1,100 feet. And then it looks like tomorrow, for the first part of the day, I'll drop even lower, down to like 792 feet at the Ocoee River. So that'll be pretty nice. Anyways, I've got everything packed back up now, aside from my GoPro stuff. And Lags is over here. She got a full belly. She got some water. I think she's ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna finish my cup of coffee, put my map and book away, and we're gonna head on up, try to cap this 2,800 foot elevation here. All right, that worked out about perfect. It's exactly 2 o'clock. Got the bag packed back up on my back, and we're moving on. Got about, like I said, 300 more feet. And I think we're gonna peak at the highest we're gonna climb today. And then we're gonna drop way back down almost another 1,000 feet down to Lost Creek Campground. I've decided I think we're gonna push for that. Feeling good after I got lunch. Cup of coffee hit the spot. Back at the, it's got a little more energy now. So I think we're good. So I guess I've reached the top of the elevation climb here today. This should be, actually I'm not sure. This is a US Forest Service sign that just says frog. I'm assuming, actually I'm not gonna assume because I don't know. It says National Forest. Looks like an awesome view over there. Some rather strange woods up here. This almost reminds me of like a swamp bottom, but it's actually got like almost 3,000 feet. So I'm guessing that old sign's been there forever. Trees growing around it. But first good, or the best views I've had so far, looking north. So that's pretty good. Oh, come here, Lags. Lagatha, come here.